Welcome to Explore Ages, where we investigate the mysteries of time. Dear viewers, history is not just about the past. It is the key to understanding the present and shaping the future. It carries the lessons of nations, the wisdom of civilizations, and the stories that inspire us to grow. Studying history, we discover who we are and where we are headed. And with that spirit, we begin a new journey, starting with Islamic history and culture, exploring the land, the people, and the events that gave rise to one of the world's greatest civilizations ever known. Islamic history and culture are like a treasure chest full of lessons. When we open it, we don't just see old stories, we see guidance, wisdom, and inspiration that still matter today. By learning Islamic history, we understand how Islam began, how it spread, and how it shaped the lives of millions of people. It tells us about the struggles, sacrifices, and victories that built a civilization. Culture adds another layer. It shows us how Muslims lived their daily lives, how they built cities, wrote poetry, developed science, and created art. It reflects their values of faith, hospitality, justice, and knowledge. Without history and culture, we are like a tree without roots. But with them, we can connect to our identity, learn from the past, and build a better future. That is why Islamic history and culture are so important. They are not just stories of yesterday, but lessons for today and tomorrow. In this video, we'll explore the geography of the Arabian Peninsula, its deserts, mountains, and coastal plains. We'll see how the climate shaped life here, from the searing heat of the daytime sun to the chilling nights of the desert. We'll also discover the incredible flora and fauna, the plants and animals that survived, adapted, and even thrived in one of the harshest lands on Earth, many of which continue to exist in modern Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, Yemen, and Jordan. By the end of this video, you'll understand not only the challenges of life in Arabia, but also the ingenuity and resilience of its people and wildlife. A story that sets the stage for the first humans and ancient tribes who made this land their home. Dear viewers, before we step into the chapters of history, let's take a moment to talk about the land where it all began, the desert land of Arabia. This wasn't just any place on the map. It was here that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born in the holy city of Makkah. And it was to Medina that he migrated, a city that soon became the first capital of the Islamic world. During the lifetime of Prophet, peace be upon him, nearly the entire Arabian Peninsula embraced Islam. Arabia became the birthplace of a new spiritual dawn. It was here that the final revelation, the Holy Quran, was revealed, in the Arabic language, a divine message for all people, all nations, and for all time to come. From this land, the message of Islam spread across the world like light breaking through the darkness. This is also the land of the Holy Kaaba, the sacred house of Allah, the most gracious and exalted. The Holy Kaaba is the heart of the Muslim world. Every year, millions of believers travel from every corner of the earth to gather here. On the plain of Arafat, you'll see no ranks, no divisions. Kings and commoners stand side by side, dressed alike, humbling themselves before the same Creator. The air is filled with prayer, hope, and awe, a glimpse of unity that the world rarely sees. This is Arabia, not just a land, but the first glowing lamp of Islamic civilization. Now, if you glance at the map of Asia and look southwest of the Indian subcontinent, you'll notice a large rectangular-shaped peninsula stretching towards the west. That's Arabia, or as it was known, Jazirat al-Arab. If you look at the map, the Arabian Peninsula itself is shaped almost like a great drop of water, or perhaps a drop of oil, hanging from the body of Asia. And indeed, in modern times, this land has become known as the heart of the world's oil wealth, as if that ancient drop carried a hidden meaning waiting to be revealed. To the east, it is bordered by the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman. To the south lies the Arabian Sea, which merges into the Indian Ocean. The Red Sea forms its western edge, and to the north it blends into the desert lands of Syria and Iraq. Arabia is a vast land, stretching across nearly 1.3 million square miles. About a third of it is nothing but desert, and none more famous than the al-Khali, or the Empty Quarter, the world's largest continuous sand desert, an endless ocean of dunes stretching for hundreds of miles. It is one of the most lifeless and silent places on Earth, yet full of ancient mystery. Surrounding this desert is a land rich in regions and histories. To the northeast lies the land once called Al-Bahrain, which in ancient times included the eastern coast of Arabia. Today, this region is shared by the island nation of Bahrain, the oil-rich kingdom of Qatar, and the eastern province of Saudi Arabia. Further along the coast lies Oman, with its capital Muscat resting on the shores of the Sea of Oman. Stretching southward, we find Hadramaut and Mahra, which today form part of Yemen, extending down to the Arabian Sea. In the southwest lies the rest of Yemen, home to the ancient kingdoms of Saba and Himyar. Its capital Sana'a is one of the oldest inhabited cities in the world, while its ports, like Aden, once opened Arabia to Africa, India, and beyond. North of Yemen is Najran and Asir, which today belong to the southwestern part of Saudi Arabia, their mountains rising close to the Red Sea. Continuing north along the coast, we find Tihama, the narrow coastal strip that marks the southern edge of the Hijaz. The Hijaz itself holds Arabia's most sacred cities, Makkah and Medina, and stretches along the Red Sea coast up to Tabuk, near the borders of modern Jordan. To its north lies Khaybar, an oasis of great historical importance. At the heart of the peninsula lies Najd, a vast central plateau that forms the cultural and geographical core of modern Saudi Arabia. To its east stretches the land of Al-Hassa and the Gulf Coast, which today connects with Kuwait and parts of Iraq. Farther north, Arabia slowly blends into the endless deserts of Syria, Jordan, and Iraq. This whole region is dry and harsh, a mix of sand, rock, and silence. The great An-Nafud Desert lies in northern Saudi Arabia, and beyond it stretches the Syrian Desert, which spreads across 4 countries: Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Syria, and Iraq. Together, they form one vast wilderness where the wind has blown for thousands of years. And here, hidden among the rocky mountains, lies Hijr, also known as Al-Hijr or Mada'in Salih. It's a land of stone and silence, where long ago the people of Thamud once lived. They carved their homes and palaces straight into the mountains. The Quran tells us that Prophet Saleh, peace be upon him, was sent to guide them, but they turned away. And Allah, the most gracious and exalted, destroyed them with a great earthquake. Centuries later, the Nabateans, the same people who built the famous city of Petra in Jordan, came and carved even more tombs and monuments into the rocks. Today, those stone faces still stand, silent reminders of 2 powerful nations that vanished long ago. And deep inside the al-Khali lies Al-Ahqaf, a mysterious land of sand and legend. Tradition says this was the home of the mighty people of Ad, who were destroyed for their arrogance, leaving their memory buried beneath the shifting dunes. So, Arabia is not just a barren desert. It is the land of Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait, a living map of deserts, mountains, coasts, and ancient civilizations, each carrying stories of faith, power, and survival long before Islam. Dear viewers, after exploring the geography of Arabia, let's dive into its climate, a land of extremes that has shaped both people and nature. Imagine a place where the sun hangs relentlessly in the sky, baking the sands during the day, while the nights tell a very different story. After sunset, the desert loses heat quickly, and without clouds to trap it, temperatures drop sharply. In the vast interior deserts, like the al-Khali in Saudi Arabia or the deserts of Oman and Yemen, nights can become surprisingly cool, sometimes falling to around 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, and even colder in winter. Travelers and nomads learned to wrap themselves in cloaks and use simple shelters to stay warm, respecting the desert's extremes. During the day, summers are scorching, with temperatures often soaring above 40 degrees Celsius. The mountains, like the Asir and Hijaz ranges in Saudi Arabia or the highlands of Oman and Yemen offer some relief, where cooler winds brush the highlands. Life here is shaped by the sun. People wear loose, flowing clothes and time their journeys to avoid the hottest hours, just as desert dwellers still do today. Rain is rare and unpredictable. Most of Arabia has no permanent rivers, only dry valleys called wadis, found in places like Wadi Rum in Jordan or Wadi Hadramaut in Yemen. For weeks or months, these wadis remain dry. And then suddenly, a storm arrives, and water rushes through like a wild river, leaving behind fertile soil. These flash floods are both dangerous and life-giving, and people have learned to use them wisely, planting crops or moving livestock when the desert allows. Even today, rainfall is sporadic, though modern infrastructure in Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Oman has made water more accessible. The wind is another powerful force shaping life. Desert winds sculpt the dunes and carve rocks over centuries. Sometimes, massive sandstorms called haboobs sweep across the land, walls of dust so high and fast that they can engulf villages and travelers. People cover their faces and wait, knowing it could last hours. And then there is the samum, a hot, dry wind that can blow for days, sapping strength, drying the land, and making even short journeys exhausting. Invisible but deadly, the samum demands constant caution and respect. Seasons in Arabia are defined not by flowers or falling leaves, but by extremes, blazing summers, cooler winters in the mountains, and the occasional heavy rain that can turn a barren desert into a fleeting paradise. People moved with these rhythms, seeking water, grazing land and shelter, always adapting to every challenge. Even today, nomadic communities follow similar patterns, timing their movements and activities with the weather. The coasts along the Red Sea, touching modern Saudi Arabia, Yemen and Jordan, and the Arabian Gulf, touching Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and Oman, are slightly milder, with humidity and occasional rains, allowing settlements and trade towns to thrive. Inland, life is tougher, demanding ingenuity, resilience, and a deep understanding of the land. Because of the harsh climate, Arabia has always been thinly populated, with most people living near water sources, wadis, or oases. The interior deserts like the al-Khali remain nearly empty, while coastal plains and highlands support more people. This pattern continues even today, with major cities like Riyadh, Jeddah, Dubai, Muscat, and Sana'a thriving near water and trade routes, while the deserts remain sparsely inhabited. In this harsh climate, camels became the lifeline of the desert, perfectly adapted to survive where few others could. We'll explore these incredible creatures and other wildlife in the next section. So, dear viewers, Arabia is a land ruled by extremes: the sun, the wind, the sudden storms, the dry sands, and the dramatic swings between scorching days and chilly nights, all demanding respect. Yet, it is also a land of adaptation, where every tribe learned to read the sky, follow the winds, and survive in ways that still echo across Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, Yemen, Jordan, and beyond today. Dear viewers, now that we've explored Arabia's harsh climate, let's talk about the life that survives here. It's flora and fauna, a term that simply means all the plants and animals of a region. In Arabia, both plants and animals have adapted in remarkable ways to endure extreme heat, scarce water, and sudden storms. Plants in Arabia are incredibly tough and resourceful. Hardy shrubs, thorny bushes, and small desert herbs cling to sandy and rocky soil, surviving scorching heat and minimal rainfall. Some plants have deep roots to tap hidden water, while others, like succulents, store moisture in their thick leaves, ready to withstand weeks without rain. In wadis and oases, date palms rise tall and proud, offering shade and sweet fruit, a lifeline for both humans and animals. Imagine sitting under the shade of a palm tree in the middle of a desert oasis, the only cool spot for miles around. That's exactly what ancient travelers and traders relied on. Even today, date palms are cultivated widely across modern Arabia, from Oman to the UAE, providing food, building material, and even medicine. Other desert plants, like acacia trees, tamarisk, and desert grasses, resist sandstorms and extreme heat, showing how life has always found a way to survive in this land. The animals of Arabia are equally remarkable. Camels, often called the ships of the desert, are the true lifeline of human survival in these deserts. They can go for days without water, carry heavy loads across endless dunes, and withstand both blazing heat during the day and freezing cold at night. Imagine a caravan of camels slowly crossing the al-Khali at sunset, their long shadows stretching over golden sands, traders sharing stories as they journey between distant settlements. Camels provide milk, meat, leather, and even their hair is used for making tents and textiles. They are not just animals. They are a part of culture, trade, and survival, connecting ancient Arabia to the modern world. Other domestic animals like goats, sheep, and chickens have also been essential. Picture a small Bedouin family at a desert camp. Goats grazing on sparse bushes, sheep resting near the tents, and chickens clucking softly, providing eggs. These animals supported humans in settlements near oases, rivers, and valleys, giving milk, meat, wool, and food in an otherwise harsh land. A tradition that continues in modern Arabia. Wild animals, meanwhile, have adapted in fascinating ways. Arabian oryx roam the desert gracefully, their white coats reflecting the scorching sun. Gazelles dart across open plains. Sandcats prowl at night, and hyenas lurk near the edges of settlements. Lizards and snakes hide under rocks during the day, emerging at night to hunt, while birds, including desert larks, hoopoes, and falcons, soar above the dunes, spotting prey from afar. Falcons, in particular, remain a cultural treasure, used in hunting across modern Arabia, and training them is still considered an art passed down through generations. Along the coasts and mountains, life becomes even more diverse. Fish and crustaceans thrive in the Red Sea and Arabian Gulf, providing food for coastal communities. Migratory birds stop by these waters, adding life and color to the coastline. Mountain goats and ibex scale cliffs in the highlands of Oman and Yemen, moving with skill and balance that leaves humans amazed. Even wild camels survive in remote desert areas of Saudi Arabia and Oman, showing that some traditions of survival never die. Insects, from colorful beetles to venomous scorpions and tiny ants, have developed clever ways to cope with the heat, hiding during the day and emerging at night to forage. All these plants and animals, the flora and fauna of Arabia, show just how life has adapted to survive scorching sun, violent sandstorms, the samum, and sudden rains. Much of this life continues to thrive today, linking ancient Arabia to the modern Arabian Peninsula. In many ways, the deserts, mountains, and coastal plains you see today still host the same hardy life that sustained humans for thousands of years. So, dear viewers, Arabia might look empty at first, but it is teeming with life, cleverly adapted to its harshest conditions, from the interior deserts to the coastal plains and highlands. And much of this life continues to exist today across Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, Yemen, and Jordan. And just as the plants and animals adapted to this harsh land, so did the first humans. In our next episode, we'll begin exploring the prehistoric peoples and ancient tribes of Arabia, including the Nabateans, Thamud, Ad, Jurhum, Kinda, and Lihianites, along with early nomadic hunter-gatherers, who learned to survive, move across the deserts, and thrive alongside these incredible plants and animals.